Welcome, students of Invictus Prep. I'm Danny, your career coach, and today on our very first episode of our career coaching series, we'll be talking about LinkedIn. What is it, how do you use it, and why is it important? All those questions are going to be answered in our video today, so stay tuned. Once you've had the chance to set up your own LinkedIn account, this is one of the very first screens that pops up. It's almost a news feed where you get to see some of your own LinkedIn connections, what they're up to, and their own accomplishments. And here you'll have the chance to like, comment, and share different posts of different people, as well as make posts of your own. But before we go ahead and dive into some of this, what's most helpful is, like I mentioned, start on our own profiles. You can go ahead and navigate from the newsfeed section to your profile in this upper right-hand corner, where you should see a profile picture of yourself. In this case, we'll be using my account for the demonstration, which is right over here. Clicking on me, you can enter on the view profile option, double click on this, and then you should be brought to your profile. An example of this would be for me. I went to high school called Mawa High School. And so if I was still in high school, I would say senior at Mawa High School. And so that is a nice, easy, and simple way for people who are looking at your LinkedIn profile to know exactly where you are within your high school or college career. Of course, there's another section over here where you're able to put in the location of where you live. That's something you'll be able to edit through this button as well. So if you go into this, you'll have the chance to put in your first name as well as your last name, any additional names you think might be appropriate, your preferred pronoun. So for me, that would be he, him. Moving on, the headline, like I mentioned, the incoming strategy analyst. And these are just some things that you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about until you get into the workforce. So education, whatever high school you want to put in. I used to be Mawa High School, so that's something I could put in if I wanted to. Scrolling down to location, we have the US, your postal code, your relevant city, and any contact information you want to put in. So if that's your phone number, the mobile, birthday, if you want to go ahead and do that, you have more than enough range to be flexible with this. Though I would say the main essentials, like we talked about, would just be getting back to some of this core information over here. Something else that is really helpful and always nice to keep in mind is, you notice my profile picture over here, LinkedIn also enables a feature where you can have a background photo. Another thing I wanted to draw to your guys' attention, another thing I think is helpful to draw to your attention is the profile background, where we see the profile here. That is where you want to put your profile there with a nice big smile. But also, I would say a background photo always helps. It adds a little bit of color. And even with this, you also want to keep it professional, where it's something that should be relevant for you. So in my case, I'll be currently moving to New York City very soon, which is really exciting for me. But in your case, if you think there might be a nice photo of your town you want to put in, of your high school, or maybe in a place or local city that you live nearby, it's something that's really helpful because, again, not only does it add a little bit of color, but it's something or a picture that is still going to be relevant to what you're putting down there. And lastly, for our video today, one thing we wanted to focus on that's very important for any profile on LinkedIn would be your summary. And if we can scroll down here, we can see an about section where it has a little bit of a description of me, who I am, and what I'm passionate about. In this case, I put down, I am a recent graduate from the University of Pennsylvania, pursuing degrees in finance and business analytics with a passion for sustainable social impact and urban development. So let's go ahead and break this down a little bit. First off, I have who I am. So I am a student. In this case, I was a recent graduate. What I like to study. So I have finance and business analytics, and what my passions and interests are. That's going to be the sustainable social impact alongside the urban development. And that's something you would be able to do in your own case as a high schooler as well. You also want to put down, what grade you are in high school and where you go to high school. What are your passions in high school? What are your academic interests? And then lastly, what are some of those interests outside of high school? What are some of the things that make you excited and thrilled to talk about? So the best way to go ahead and do this is in a three-pronged structured approach. Who you are, what you want to pursue, and what your passion is. And you can go ahead and even put this onto 1 or 2 sentences if you feel the need, but that's a really helpful structure to go about thinking about this specific summary section. Now, I know there's so much we can only go over in one video, but no worries at all. We'll have plenty of other videos in our LinkedIn series to go over this content, whether it be the connections, we have this experience, activity section, education, and a lot more to say. So definitely stay tuned for those videos coming up. You see here, if you click on this LinkedIn icon, this will take you back to your homepage. You can go ahead, click this button, see new posts that someone might have posted, and then scroll down to see any news that you might find interesting. But pressing on this back button over here and on the profile itself, there's a search bar where you can talk to different people. So going back to our account, there's a search bar where you can actually go. Nonetheless, going back to our account, there's a search bar you can find right over here, where you can actually type in different people, different jobs you might think are interesting. So if you have maybe a friend of yours or a friend of a friend that you think might be a good connection, you can actually type their name in here and find them. And for those of you who haven't used LinkedIn before, I hope you're able to learn something new from this video. And for those of you who use this as a refresher, I hope this jogged your memory a little bit more. That being said, that's all the time we have for today. But as always, make sure to hit that like button and leave a comment below if you found this video helpful. As always, y'all have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.